I'm Jasmine Iro with Midday News. The woman who was allegedly assaulted by police at Gordon's is not dead. According to NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika, the woman was taken to hospital by the commander of Gordon's police station to be treated to her injuries. Metsup Sika asserted that online rumors that the woman died were false and deceptive. Police identified her as 36-year-old Agnes Kewa, a resident of 8 Mile suburb. She is from Pangia, Southern Highlands Province. Agnes, an informal market vendor, said that police approached her and other vendors on Tuesday morning at around 8 a.m. while they were selling their wares in front of shops. She alleged that one police officer assaulted her while trying to rid her and other vendors from the area. She was unconscious while being carried to the Gordon's police station, where she was driven to the hospital. Metsup Sika said police at Gordon's are under pressure to ensure that the area remains safe for the traveling public. This includes ensuring that vendors conduct their business in designated areas. Some have chosen to ignore this. City Manager Ravu Frank is preparing for more development to the 9 Mile area. At the launching of the 9 Mile to PAU Road, Mr. Frank said the National Capital District Commission will be seeking the assistance of the Prime Minister in the next 5 years of the 9 Mile development plan. The 9 Mile to PAU Road costs 117 million kina and covers the design and construction of 7.5 kilometers long 4-lane road, cemetery access roads, as well as cemetery fence, car park, footpaths, fencing to Marinville Secondary School, drainage works, and 24-cell culverts at Kinakon, street lights and landscaping.
The back of the airport through Faria and ATS. Work will start soon. Prime Minister, when these links are completed, we will anticipate that this part of the city will create half of our planned allotments.
Huonville Preschools constructed a new 3-in-1 classroom, which was opened on Tuesday. After an increase in student intake, parents of students initiated building the 3-in-1 classroom to address overcrowding, following the government's free education policy.
It's around 70,000 kina. We're to test 70,000 kina project. The school board and the parents, they work hand in hand to complete this classroom. The school, the time frame that we actually start our work is all of term 1. That's 3 months plus this 2 weeks of this term. So it's around 4 months that we are working.
Nearly 10,000 people from across the Tambul Nabilia district of Western Highlands Province attended the launch of a first-of-its-kind SME program for the women of the district, led by local member and Minister for Defence Windaki and wife Charlind. Western Highlanders came from across the populated district to witness the signing of an agreement between the District Development Authority and the SME Corporation. 300 women also graduated that day in financial literacy facilitated by SMEC. Wife of Prime Minister Rachel Marape was a guest.
The SME Program for Women of Tambul Nabilia District in Western Islands is part of an initiative started by wife of Prime Minister Rachel Marape. Mrs. Marape planned to have wives of parliamentarians to mobilize women in their respective districts and connect them to banking services so that they can run their MSME businesses better. Mrs. Marape commended a local member and Minister for Defence Windaki and his wife for bringing this SME program to Tambul Nabilia. Mrs. Daki took on board the SME program last month by registering an association called the Seed Association Incorporated, which already has more than 500 members in the project pilot area of Upper Nabilia. 300 of these women graduated in the SMEC training. These women can now run well their mini money-making ventures with good business practices and grow into proper SMEs and smallholder businesses. Mrs. Daki said the next step is to connect the women to a bank to open accounts and start saving money. Minister Daki has committed 1 million kina to the SME program for women this year. 1 million kina will be committed each year for the next 5 years. The Western Islands provincial government has also committed 150,000 kina, while Governor Vairapa's family committed 20,000 kina to the program. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Small-scale coffee farmers in the Eastern Highlands province are fighting the invasion of the coffee berry Bora in recent months, affecting coffee production and the livelihood of farmers. According to Highlands Farmers and Settlers Association, the CBB is spreading fast into coffee-growing provinces, affecting thousands of small-time farmers.
The Highlands Farmers and Settlers Association have raised grave concern about the spread of coffee berry Bora that is destroying coffee cherries and threatening the coffee industry. Black insects bore into the coffee cherry and destroy the valuable coffee beans. This is affecting thousands of small-scale farmers across the Highlands region. Affected farmer in Goroka district of Eastern Highlands province, Stan Makalai, is concerned about the impact of the coffee berry Bora that is affecting his coffee production by half, and so as his income.
Plantiem berry Bora, wokla affectim and miplak simbikla bagara.
With the infestation of coffee berry Bora, the small-time farmers say there is little they can do. They are calling on Highlands Farmers and Settlers Association, companies in the coffee business, and the government to assist in putting an end to the berry Bora raid on their cash crop.
Government want to work boom, finding marasindo berry Bora now. Come help me plus from Highlands side, Goroka district, you want that Highlands region. Me plus all right.
Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
Barrick New Guinea Limited, Barrick Gold Corporation, and the Internal Revenue Commission have settled all disputes and issues relating to old Pogera tax matters on terms satisfactory to all parties. Although BNL and Barrick had the option of appealing the objection assessment, the parties resolved to settle the matter amicably in the interest of reopening the Pogera mine. The settlement enables BNL and the state to reopen Pogera as soon as other pending matters are finalized. In a media statement issued on Tuesday, BNL expressed its appreciation to the IRC for its cooperation through the resolution process. More than 80 judges from the Federal Circuit and Family Court traveled to the desert this week for 3 days of listening and learning from the remote Aboriginal communities. Historically, the annual meeting is held in a major city, but this year they've broken with tradition in an extremely rare chance to learn about the challenges facing outback families.
To the red dust, more than 80 judges left behind city courtrooms for 3 days of listening and learning in remote Aboriginal communities.
Normally, just people saying judges would scare people, so but it's a good sort of interaction, and we're grateful for understanding.
Traditionally, the court's gathering is held in metro areas, but this year, Chief Justice Will Alstergren has taken the group out of their comfort zones to outback Australia.
To see some of the poorest people in Australia and most disadvantaged reminds us of what we've got to do and how we've got to cater for them, but also the fact that we have a duty to all Australians to serve and to support them properly.
As part of their visit, these judges hope to clarify the role of the court. Building had a complicated relationship with the justice system.
Because Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families have been wary of the courts, they've been scared to go near a court. Any time they've historically gone near a court, they've been incarcerated or things like this in custody.
But families are learning they can use the court to apply to care for children if the parents can't, before police or child welfare get involved, keeping kids on country and within kinship networks.
Trying to encourage people and say this is a safe space for you to come to protect your family is an important message.
Taking steps towards change.
And in sports, preparations for Game 2 of this year's State of Origin series are ramping up. Queensland will be looking to seal the series against New South Wales. The Blues have never travelled to Brisbane, whilst 1 point down and gone on to take home the shield. Can they manage to buck that trend.
Preparations really ramping up for Game 2 down there. The Caxton Hotel always has a car park party, so that was they're starting to bring in all this equipment for that, which will be a big event. And they always have a pre-Origin dinner as well. That's been sold out for some time now, so you can't get a ticket to that. There's also a number of bars along there. In fact, one of the bars is having a number of different cocktails they're putting on for that. One of them's called the Origin Old Fashions, Gemma. Also, the Cane Toad is another cocktail they've got, and Roach's Revenge. So getting a little bit creative with the names there. But of course, it's all about the game tomorrow night. We just heard from the Maroons coach Billy Slater a short time ago. He did talk about the team preparation and the record that Queensland has when it comes to Game 2 of a State of Origin series in recent times. It's not a good record. The last 5 they have lost. But Billy, he wasn't buying into that at all. He says history is what it is, and he's just focused on playing the game tomorrow night. Also didn't buy into the favourites tag, which Queensland, it looks like they will go into this game, Gemma, as the favourites to beat New South Wales in Game 2 of the series. That doesn't happen very often. But once again, Billy Slater not really thinking about that at all, totally focused on what the team has to do tomorrow night. Let's have a listen to what he had to say a short time ago.
We're pushing all our energy into giving ourselves the best chance to play our best footy. That's all we can control. The guys have done a great job during the week. You know, we're in this position, 36 hours before Game 2, and everything's happened well so far. But it means nothing if we don't turn up tomorrow night and play our best football.
Program staff of the National Sports Institute in Goroka Eastern Highlands have been busy this week conducting teacher training for the primary school sports programs Ball Games Festival scheduled for Term 3. NSI is looking forward to this event. It will host primary school students, teachers and parents and community leaders at the PSSP Ball Games Festival in touch footy and volleyball.
Primary school teachers in Eastern Highlands Province have been taking teacher training facilitated by the National Sports Institute in preparation for the primary school sports programs Ball Games Festival. 4 NSI staff were at Korofegu Primary School taking some teachers through PE lesson planning and how to teach a sports skill in a PE class. NSI has since conducted similar teacher training since April for Daulo, Kainantu, Obura Woninara, Henganofi, Goroka and now in the Ungai Bena district. The team could not facilitate training for Okapa and Lufa districts as the roads are impassable for vehicles. In Term 3, NSI will host the Provincial Ball Games Festival for touch footy and volleyball for the Under 14 and Under 16 divisions for male and females. 6 districts will conduct their respective festivals to select their district team to attend the main festival at NSI, tentatively scheduled for the 3rd of August 2023. NSI will host primary school students, teachers, parents and community leaders. Teacher training is currently being held at Korofegu Primary School and nearby Kapakamarigi Primary School. Salome Vincent, TVWAN Sports.
And that ends the main news. More to come at 6 this evening.